Hey y'all, what is up? It is Steezy Adventures. Today we are back out here again on the Himalayan, and today we're gonna do two things. One, we're gonna go to places I have never been out here at Land Between the Lakes, and two, I'm gonna do my 2,000 mile review, which is actually gonna be like 2,150 because I went a little over. But hey, I wanted to come do it out here, so we're doing it out here. Anyway, I'll show you on the map where we're at. First of all, as you can see, that area is closed, so I cannot ride that way. That was the plan, because it's gravel and I wanted to ride gravel, but it's closed because hunting season or something like that. Anyway, we're not going that way today. So, show you where we're at here. We are currently right here, right there on 151 and 68. 68's a paved big highway. We're gonna go down here to this one and ride 134 up this way, and then see here, we got to turn, go up this way, turn left here, across this little creek, across the energy dam, up this way, and then all the way up here to Hematite Lake picnic area. We're actually probably going to go out this way to the Honker Dam day use area, because I've never been out there except for on the bike, except for with those guys from last weekend. Back down here, come up here, over this way, all the way up through here, back over to the trace, up this way, and then we're gonna get farther north. That is the plan. That is the goal. We'll see if we get there. We probably will. But yeah, once we get to my final destination, which is the most northern point that you can drive to at Land Between the Lakes, that's where I'm gonna do my review at. So y'all stay tuned. We're gonna do a 1,000 mile review, 2,000 mile review, and it's gonna be cool. So y'all stay tuned. All right, y'all, we have made it to our first stop here. We are at Empire Point, and this is the Empire Point Nature Watch area, but it's also the old Empire Point farm. So over there is the old farm buildings. Well, actually, kind of everywhere are the old Empire Point farm buildings, as you can see. And stopped here because it looked cool, and I've never actually stopped here before, but it's got a really good view out that way. They keep it mowed down so you can have a chance to like view some nature, some deer and stuff. It'd be cool if they could go, if we go out that way, but we can't, so we're not going to. But yeah, it's first little stop here. It is cold. In case anybody was wondering, I think it's like 38, 40 tops. I think the highest today is supposed to be 53, but they're not supposed to do that until about 1 o'clock this afternoon, so it'll warm up. But for right now, I'm doing pretty good. I am not, in case y'all are wondering, seeing any nature. In fact, the only nature I'm seeing are those turkey vultures up there. That's it, flying around the sky. But it's a cool view, and I'm gonna get a cool picture, so hey, it pays off. Let me go show you my little map over here at the informational sign, and I'll show you on the map where we're at today. Okay. So we are here. There's a little walking trail that goes out this way and around there, and then loops back on 135. I don't want to do that. I'd rather just fucking ride, you know. But hey, there's apparently an osprey nesting platform up here, which is pretty cool. But we're not going to go there. So hey, whatever. We're just going to turn around because there's gates. So and I don't like to walk places when I have a bike. All right, let's walk back over here, take a look at the map, and see where we're going next. Turn the key off before the bike dies. Okay, so we are currently right here. Currently right here. Came up on this road here. We're gonna go back this road up around here to there, and then up this way. We are going to try to get more up this direction. So yeah, that's the plan. All right, let's get going. So we are out here at Craven's Bay, and check out this view. I mean, starting over there, it's a little sunny, but all the way around there, that is Craven's Bay. And there's actually a little campground here too, and I might come out here and camp one day. I think this would be a really cool place to camp, right there on the edge too, right here at this little campsite right here. But anyway, we are at Craven's Bay. So let me show you where I rode from. So the last place we stopped at was like right here. You can see Honker Dam day use areas right there. We didn't quite go all the way up there. We stopped like right here by Empire Point. So we came back down here, got on 134. Rode up 134 up to 314. Turned right on 314 over to 312. Took 312 up through here past what's called Racetrack Hollow. So from 312, got on 129, came out all the way over here to the trace. Was on the trace for like 1/10 of a mile. Got on 117, came up 117 to 118, run 118 all the way out here to Craven's Bay. Now 118 and Old Ferry Road are both paved, but we're gonna get back on 118. We're gonna ride it back out to 117 up here to 122, 415 to St. Stephen's Cemetery and Catholic Church. After we get to St. Stephen's Catholic Church, we'll turn around, come back down here to 117, and follow it the rest of the way up here, all the way to, I think this is 127, left onto 127. Actually, we might just turn left onto 124. Nah, turn left onto 127, take 127 up to Cuttawaw Landing camping area, and then once I get up there, that'll be the most northern point on Lambton Lakes. So we'll start turning around. we'll probably follow this route all the way out because it has a lot less dirt or a lot less pavement. That seems like to be a pretty good plan. The reason we didn't just do that to begin with is because I wanted to go to St. Stephen's Cemetery, and there's not really a good way to do that unless you come up 117. I mean, you can go up at 113 to 119, but eventually you're gonna have to get on 117. So we're gonna kick back out to 118, ride it up to St. Stephen's Cemetery. That's the plan. Y'all stick with me. That'll be our next stop. All right, guys, so we have made it up here to St. Stephen's Catholic Church, and I was up here last weekend with the guys from Let's Take a Ride, or ADV at LBL, the little fall meetup. But I have not ever been here by myself, and when I was here last week I didn't really GoPro it that much, so that's what we're gonna do now. So you got a nice little fence that goes all the way around it. It's cute, and it is one of the last, like one of the few buildings that are still standing out here at LBL, which is, I think, is pretty cool. A lot of them have kind of gone into disrepair. This one they've kind of kept looking half decent. It is pretty old. I'm gonna figure out how old. I don't really know, but we're gonna figure out how old here in a minute. So as you can see, that's what it looked like before they did the restorations, and then here's some of the actual restorations. It says it was constructed in 1900 by some German Catholic families that came over, and their last service that was actually conducted here was in 1945. When LBL was formed, though, they rebuilt it, or they kind of found it in 1963, and this is the only church that was still standing in LBL. And it says that they in the year 2000 they actually decided to start the restoration work, so it's only actually been like fixed up since 2000. There is still the cemetery over there, a lot of old gravestones. A lot of them are over 100 years old, some of them are closer to 80, but yeah, you can actually go up into the cemetery, or the church and the cemetery, I guess. But it is a little creepy because I'm out here in the middle of the woods in a church. But yeah, so this is the inside of the church. It's pretty small. There used to be a furnace there, or a wood stove there. The chimney's still kind of there, but they've taken pretty good care of this, which is really cool. There's this logbook over here that tells people when people last visited, and then of course some more information about how it got restored. So yeah, it's a pretty cool little area. It's the only church left standing in LBL. So just wanted to come out here and show you guys that. Here in a minute, we're gonna get right into our last stop, which is the northernmost point in LBL, Cuttawaw Bay, I think, landing area. So yeah, I'll get back on the bike here in a minute. I'm gonna explore a little bit, y'all stick with me, and I'm gonna do that 2,000 mile review up there. So, and probably eat some lunch, because I am getting a little hungry. Anyway, yes, stick with me. All right, boys, we've made it to Cuddawall Landing. So this is the northernmost like drivable point in Land Between Lakes. Of course, unless you go across the bridge, and then you're not really in Land Between Lakes anymore. But you can see we're farther north than that point over there, and we're about the same as that point over there. That way is north. You see that big barge over there? That's cool. Big old river barge. Huh. Anyway, so we've made it to the farthest north point at LBL. And let me show you exactly where we are on the map here. So we came from Cravens Bay, and we rode up 118 to 117, 117 up to 122, over to 415 to St. Stephen's Church, came back down, got on 117, rode up this way to 120, I think this is 126, took that over here. And I actually did take 128 over to the lady cemeteries, Jacob Lady and Henry Lady cemeteries. Came back down up 127 to Cuddawall Landing camping area. That's where we're at right now. And it means it's time for me to make lunch, but also for me to do my 2,000 mile review. So I've got my notes here. What we're gonna start out with is the overall this bike, the Himalayan. The Himalayan is a great bike that will get you literally anywhere, and I firmly believe that. I mean, it's got me anywhere I've wanted to go so far. Is it fast? No. But will it take you places you want to go to? Yes. Compared to the my Sportster, it's it goes places the Sportster just can't. The Sportster has no business going. It takes like bumps, it takes gravel, it takes ruts. It does it. It just does it and keeps going. So that is like my overall opinion of it. It's a really good bike, especially for the money, for the price. That'll go anywhere and be happy about doing it. Next thing I want to talk about is the cons, because of course it is, although it is a pretty good bike, it does have some pretty good downfalls because of how cheap it is. First thing, I mean, everybody knows it, it's slow. Like, it's very slow. Like today, I think the fastest I've ever got it, I actually got today. I got it up to 80 miles an hour. And you might be thinking, well, that sounds plenty fast. Well, I was going down a hill, and I was full tucked, and I was basically a red line in 5th gear, but it got up to 80 miles an hour. It didn't get there fast. It accelerated very slow, but it got there. But if you wanted a fast bike, you're probably not looking at the Himalayan anyway, so don't worry about it being slow. It is slow because it only has about 24 horsepower. So it's got this 411cc engine, right? 5-speed gearbox, and it's air and oil cooled. Sorry, air and oil cooled. But it only makes about 24 horsepower and 25 torque, or foot-pounds of torque, which really for off-road and like these gravel roads and stuff is plenty fast and plenty fine. The only time that I really feel it lacking for power is trying to pass people on the highway or get up to speed on the highway. And I don't ride on like interstates anyway, so you know, not too big of a deal. But on the some of these like smaller state highways, it gets it's a little slow. But hey, whatever, I didn't mind if I be fast. The next thing, it is kind of heavy for the horsepower that it makes. So it's only 450 with gas in it, and then probably closer to 500, well, probably closer to 475 with the gear that I have on right now, which is my Nelson rig bag in this top box, which I keep like repair stuff in and my cooking stuff in. That one has a first aid kit and a full canteen of water. So it is a little heavy for only 25 or 24 horsepower, but compared to like bigger bikes that are, I mean, make more power, it's lighter. You know, it's lighter than an African Twin. It's way lighter than GS. It's definitely lighter than Tiger. Sure, like some of the middleweight ones that they come out with, like the T7, the Touareg, all those guys, like, yeah, sure, whatever, they're heavy, or they're about the same weight, make the same horsepower, but hey, whatever. It has a couple problems that everybody likes to point out, especially on Facebook. It is known to have some problems with the fuel pump relay, where the fuel pump relay will just go out and then you won't be able to start your bike. I've never had that problem. I do keep extra fuel pump relays in that top box in case I need it, but I've never had the problem. A lot of people say that the easiest way to fix it is just to get your fuel pump replaced and then replace the relays with better relays and some better dielectric grease, and that usually seems to fix the problem. I have noticed that it is a little cold-natured, not as bad as a Sportster, but a little cold-natured. But Royal Enfield included this little choke thing over here, so you can actually choke it and start it. If I do that, it usually starts right up, so I don't have that problem with starting. And then finally, the tubes for the tires. The tubes that come with it kind of suck. I got a flat tire on the front wheel, like within just riding around Fort Campbell. And granted, I might have hit like a piece of brass, because I was out by the ranges. I might hit like a piece of brass or one of the little stripper clips or something like that. But the tire was fine. The tire doesn't have holes in it. The tube was flat. I might have got a pinch flat, but I mean, it sucks. Now I've got these heavy duty tubes in the front tire now, and they seem to do pretty good. And I'm probably gonna, when I change the tires to get new tires, I'm probably gonna get heavy duty tire tubes on the front and the back, and that'll probably fix it. I mean, I've only got the one flat, knock on wood, but I do carry an extra tube with me just in case. So now that we've talked about the cons, let's talk about some pros. So the pros, it's pretty comfy. I mean, I do usually around 150 miles when I ride this bike. Granted, the seat, which I've got my jacket on right now, so I'm gonna move that. The seat isn't very wide. It's something that a lot of people complain about. So if you're a little bigger, and a lot of people are in America, the seat might be a little narrow for you. Would I want to ride it from here to California with that seat? Probably not. I'm not going to ride 200 miles a day like I do with my Himalayan with the Mustang seat on it. But you can get some concept seats, and I think Corbin makes a seat for it now that are supposed to be pretty comfy, that a lot of people have even done like iron butts on with them. So I mean, it's pretty comfy. I like it. It's not too bad. The actual riding position for it is okay. It's really good for me. For taller people, like I know on Spite's Corner on YouTube, he said he's 6'4". It's a little cramped for him, but I'm 5'7", so you know, I'm a solid, what, 9 inches shorter than him, and I don't have a problem with it. The distance from the seat to there to the foot pegs pretty comfy for me. From here to there, pretty comfy. I could maybe use like a 1/2 inch riser for the handlebars, because I am leaning a little bit over, but you know, I'm not very good at off-road riding to know if I need risers or not on handlebars. I think it's fine. The windshield. So a lot of people on Facebook change the windshield. I've seen people cut them shorter, like all the way down to here. I've seen people who just have this little bit here, and then I've seen people get taller ones and even extended ones that are really high for touring. I think the one that's on there right now does pretty good for what I use it for. If I was going to go like long distance, I would probably put a little higher one, just because it does kind of hit the top of my head a little bit. The wind does. But for off-road, I wouldn't want to do that, because sometimes, you know, you're rocking back and forth. I've actually hit my chin off the windshield before. I think with a taller one, I might run into that problem even more. But I think it does pretty good for me. The next one's pretty obvious. It'll literally go just anywhere. And I think that's like my biggest takeaway from this bike, is that it will literally take you anywhere you want to go, and it'll be happy about it. Like, it's got, so the tires, the two wheels and stuff, it's got 21 in the front and a 17 in the back. They're not very wide because it's not a very big bike. But they go over stuff, they go through ruts, they go over logs. I mean, anything that you need them to go over, they pretty much roll right over. Pretty standard setup for an adventure bike, the 2117. Usually it's 2118, but hey, whatever. They do pretty good. The wheels are pretty good. The tires themselves that come on it, I think that's what I had next. Let me check. The tires that I had next, or on it right now, are the stock tires. They're the Seat whatever brand that they make in India and they don't sell here. I think they do pretty good for like gravel roads. Even in like mud, they're okay. You saw my video last weekend if you watched it. I was riding out here with a bunch of guys on like KLRs and KTMs and stuff, and I've just got these. They're kind of worn down because they've got 2,000 miles on them, but these stock tires with this little chevron pattern, not super knobby or anything, and they were all riding like actual off-road, like big blocky chunky tires. And my tires are actually getting kind of close to wearing down anyway, but like I kept up with, or I didn't keep up with them, but I went everywhere they did. I kept up pretty decently with them. I didn't drop the bike. I got a little loose in the mud, but hey, what do you expect with basically street tires? They're like 80/20 street tires, but they do pretty good. Let's go back to it being slow. It is slow, but it has 26 foot-pounds of torque, which is pretty decent for a bike that's only 450 pounds. And so therefore, like, it pretty much will just climb hills. Like, it just eats hills, especially even at low idle, like even at low RPMs, eats hills. The brakes on this bike, the brake levers are kind of crappy, so I put new brake levers because the other one broke really easily. But the brakes are okay. They're not great. A lot of people complain about the front master cylinder. They say that the actual discs and rotors and whatever this thing's called, pistons, are better than the master cylinder. And I probably would agree. Like, you could probably use better master cylinder. It doesn't need like Brembos or anything. It's not that cool of a bike or nice of a bike. But I mean, the brakes are better than my Sportster, and my Sportster, granted, is 16 years older than this bike, or yeah, 16 years older than this bike. But the brakes are better than the Sportster, so I mean, I thought they were pretty good. But hey, I mean, maybe that's just because I'm used to Harleys. It does have a lot of good places to put storage, so you can put a tank bag up there, put a top box back here. I've even seen people put top boxes like out here and then lay bags across here. You can get your panniers there. What I did last week when I was camping, I had my tank bag, had this top box, had a backpack right here with extra clothes, a tent on top of the backpack, and a chair on top of that, all stacked right there. And then when I got to the campground, I took it off. And then a lot of people, of course, mount stuff to the front, the tank guards here too, which is honestly one of the most useful things about it. I haven't done that yet just because I don't have the right pieces. There are, so you see in there, there's little nuts in there that stuff mounts to. The new ones, the 22s, have like a different system. The 21s in back have those little nuts, which make it easy to mount stuff to them, or you just literally tie it with 580 cord. It gets pretty good fuel mileage. It gets way better fuel mileage than the Sportster. Even the Sportster already gets pretty good fuel mileage. I usually get between 70 and 75, especially if I'm doing highway miles. So like I mean, that with the 4-gallon tank, you can get almost almost 300 miles. I would call it a safe 275, 280. And that's only on one tank of gas, not carrying extra tank or extra gas, which is pretty nice. And then lastly but not least, the part of this bike that's really the best, and I'm going to say it again, is that it has a character, man. The Royal Enfields have character. Any company that's been around this long, like Harley, look at Royal Enfield, look at Indian. They just have character. There's something about them that makes people like them. And this one here, the Himalayan, what Royal Enfield did with this bike, is make a really good adventurous bike that makes you want to go out and do things. It makes you want to go to new places. It makes you want to explore. It just instills that confidence in you, and it just really makes me want to go find new places and experience them in ways that you can't on a street-oriented motorcycle. And this bike will do it, and it will be happy about doing it. It won't do it fast, but it will do it. So anyway, that's going to close out my 2,000 mile review. I'm going to go ahead and make some lunch, and I want to head home because it is cold, and I'm kind of tired riding in the cold, but also because I've kind of ran out of places to ride. I'm at the northernmost point in LBL, and I don't know if I'm going to go up there and ride that way and then down, or if I'm going to ride back down the trace and come back the way I came. I don't know yet. We'll see. So yeah, stick with me. Lunch, ride home, and I'll probably call it after the lunch, honestly. But anyway, stay tuned. So in terms of lunch today, we have garden plant-based Italian wedding soup, which I think is pretty good. I had it last time, or had it before, but I don't think I ever had it on camera. But anyway, down here by the lake, somebody was nice enough to set up a little camp ring down here by the lake. So this is where I'm having lunch at. I didn't bring a chair, so I'm probably gonna sit on that rock right there. But hey, the view's good. See across the creek, the river there into Kentucky. I thought about going down there and having lunch, but I mean, that looks like a pain to carry all my stuff down there, so we're not doing that. Probably explore down there anyway. Somebody threw a whole ass TV. Why would you do that? Like, whoever did that, screw you, you're awful. I'm not gonna clean it up because I can't carry that on my bike, but really good view here. Yep, so that's the plan, some lunch. After that, we'll get down the road.